Hi guys, welcome back to session on Python based data science lecture series. In today's session, we'll be dealing with file IO operations. As you know well, file plays a vital role. File stores the data permanently in the computer's memory like a hard drive. Now, a question arises. We have a database management system and we already discussed the connectivity of MySQL server with Python. Then what is the utility of files? Guys, MySQL deals with the database management that is available in the format of records, tables, and tabular relationships. But many times we have to deal with the textual data. As we know, the textual data is increasing nowadays because of the social media. So while dealing with textual data, where the data is in the format of words, sentences, paragraphs, then instead of using database management softwares, it's a better idea to use file IO for the management of this kind of textual data. In today's session, we'll be discussing about how we can create a file, open a file, how we can append the file, what are the various modes to deal with the file IO in Python. While dealing with a file, you have to open it in the various modes. For example, read, R stands for a file you want to open in read mode, W stands for if you want to open a file in the write mode, X stands for if you open a file in the, if a file is already exists, then it will not allow you to create the file sort of, and then A for append, add at the end, and these are the modes given if you want to open the file in a binary mode and all, or you can open the file more than one mode also at a time. Modes means in which type the type of operations you want to perform with the file, you can open that file in that specific mode. We'll be discussing in a example sections, demonstration sections about these all the modes as well. Now in Python, it provides you the function called as open, and this open function, there are many more functions like open, close, write and all. So we'll be discussing again while developing the applications of file IO. But initially the open functions opens that file in the specific mode. So the arguments you require, that is a file name, and you want to specify the mode on it. So the basic idea about the file IO operation, whenever you are dealing with the textual data, whenever your data is in the format of words, paragraph, then it's better idea to use a file IO operations to deal with this data. Let us discuss this by examples. As I discussed, there is a open function in Python to open a specific file. Let us assume I had created a file called as axiom.txt in the directory and stored some contents in it. Welcome to Axiom Tech Guru Private Limited, IT Solutions by IT Masters. This is the tagline of Axiom Tech Guru Private Limited and the address. Now this data I stored in a axiom.txt. Now the first thing what we need to do, write a Python code which will read this axiom.txt file and then get the contents of it. So I will uncomment this code Okay, now file equals to open. Open is a function which opens a specific file in the mode. So axiom.txt, which is already exists in the directory, it opens in the read mode. I want to read the contents of that particular file. So after successfully open that file, it assigns to file. So file become an object, file become an delegate to deal with the file called as axiom.txt. Then we can set the loop for each in file, means it will read line by line from that particular file, and then you can print that each line. So here in this code, it opens this axiom.txt file in the read mode and read the contents, read the line by line contents of that particular file. Let us test the executions. I already created axiom.txt. It is already available. I stored the data in it, and then here by writing this code, I am going to open that file in the read mode and read the contents of it. Let us execute this. In the terminal, I'll get that all the contents. Welcome to Axiom Tech Guru Private Limited, IT Solutions by IT Masters, IT Park Lecture-22. Means if the exist file in the directory, I am able to open it and read the contents line by line of that particular file. Let us understand some other technique now. There is another method called as read. Instead of setting a loop, now in the above example, we set a loop to read line by line from that file, but there is a method called as read. This read method read the entire contents of a file and you can able to print it. So here file equals to open axiom.txt for the read mode, and then I use a method called as file.read. So instead of setting up a loop, you can read all the contents of a file and able to print it. Let us test this. Here it is. We can able to read the contents of that entire file at a time. Let us go for commenting this also. Now, if you don't want to read the entire contents, and if you want to specify the number of characters, how many number of characters from the start position to you want to read, so here there is a method for it. You can pass on the parameter to read. File.read 5 means it will read the first initial 5 alphabets, 5 characters from the file called as axiom.txt. Here it is, well and see. It means these examples gives us an idea how we can refer to a specific file, open it in the read mode and read the contents of it. We can set a loop, we can use a read method, we can customize the read method to read the specific number of characters from the file. Okay, now let us go for the next thing. Now we successfully able to read the contents of a given file. Now if you want to create a new file, here in this case, file equals to open new axiom.txt. As you know, axiom.txt is already exists, so I'm going to create a new file now, new axiom.txt, and I'm opening it in the W mode. W is a mode which is useful for writing the contents, or if you want to create a file, then you have to use a mode called as W. So you will open the file new axiom.txt in the W mode, write mode, and then file.write this entire sentence. This is the write command /n. So it will write the contents. This is the write command, and then go to the new line, and it allows the write to particular file and file.close. So this write method, it will write the entire sentence in a specific file, go to the new line and add another line in it, and then close the operation over there. Let us test this. Now after successfully, if you execute this code, what it will do, it will create the file new axiom.txt and add these contents and close it. Here it is. So you will find new exome.txt is added in the directory. If you go for it, then you will find this data available in it. But what we will do now, why not we read the contents of the file by using Python code. So here it is. After successfully creating the file called as new exome.txt, I am opening this new exome.txt in the read mode and read the contents of that file. Let us test this. Here it is. The number of lines, this is the write command, and it allows us to write in a particular file these sentences. /n, go to the new line. If you don't use a /n, then it will continue to write the sentence on the same line. So in this manner, we successfully able to create a new file by the name of new exome.txt and add the lines in it. That close method closes the open file. So this is the way how we can successfully able to write the contents into the file and able to read again the additive contents on it. Now let us go for the next thing, that is append. Now append means add at the end. If a file which is already exists in the memory, you don't want to create the new file, but you want to add some extra contents in that exists file, then there is a mode called as append mode. As we know, we already have a file called as exome.txt, which is having the contents: welcome to Exome Tech Guru Private Limited, IT Solutions by IT Masters, and this address of it. Now, I want to add a new line in that particular file, so that's why I'm opening exome.txt in the append mode, and I'm adding a line called as /n new line, and then this will add this line, and then file.close. Let us check this out. Now, here I am just like adding the content. So if you go to the exome.txt manually, you will find that the extra line is added over here. But let us check it out by Python code to read the file contents. Now I am referring to open the file exome.txt for the read mode and read the contents of it. So you will find that this extra line with the new line will be added to that particular file called as exome.txt. Here it is. Okay. So we understand up till now how we can read the contents, how we can write the contents, and how we can append the contents to the specific file. Now let us go for some other techniques. In Python, there is another use of with. Means just like while importing the Python library, we are using import tkinter as tk. In the similar manner, means that tk become a delegate to access the tkinter library. In the similar manner, there is a with option. With open exome.txt as file. It means now that all the operations with the file you can do with this file become a delegate to use the entire operations with that specific file. So with open exome.txt as file.read means instead of file equals to open, you can say with file. Up till now what we use, file equals to, file become a delegate, file is a variable, file equals to open, that file name, and then we use that mode over there. Here there is no need to specify the mode, it will directly refer to that exome.txt. With open exome.txt as file means now with is a clause by which you can create the like delegate for this file referral. So with open exome.txt as file, so now file is actually directly referring to the exome.txt. File.read, okay, and it will read the contents of exome.txt and assign to data, and if you print the data, all the contents of exome.txt you can able to read. Let us test this. Here it is. So with clause specifies us to create a delegate to refer to this particular file, and then we can able to print it. Let us check for another use of with. Now, with open test.txt for write mode as F. Now here, F become a delegate to open the test.txt file. Test.txt file is not exist, and we are creating this test.txt file for the write mode, and we are going to write by using f.write now. F.write hello world. So hello world is going to add into the test.txt. Let us check this. Here it is. So if you go to the test.txt now, you'll find hello world going to store in that. So this is the example of a with clause, where we can open that particular file in a specific delegate, and you can able to refer to that file over here. Here file become a delegate, here F become a delegate, and then all the further like I had given the example, import tkinter as tk. So all that entire library of tkinter referred by tk in the similar manner with open exum.txt as file. So entire file IO operations will be now performing by the file or the F delegate. Hope you understand this with clause. Then we have a split. Now many times up till now we are reading the entire contents of the file line by line, but many times you want to read the lines and then split the words to process further, and that time split is used. With open exum.txt for read mode as file means you open this exum.txt with the read mode with a delegate called as file, and file.read lines, it will read the entire lines and assign to data. For line in data, now this line is referring to line by line of this data. Line.split splits that in the entire line, whatever with the number of words, it splits by comma, and then word by word you can able to print it. Let us check this out. So here what is expected, there is a method called as split which will split the entire words available in the line, and then we can able to print the words. Let us check what will the output. We know that we have a file called as exum.txt, and which is having number of lines. So we are reading all the lines, and then line by line we are splitting that all the words available in the line. Here it is. Now first line is welcome to Exum Tech Group Private Limited. We split them word by word, welcome to, and then then we go to the next line, and in this manner we can able to split the words of the available line. And if you want to process further, you want to check how many number of words are there in the file. Okay, you want to you want to compare the words, then you can use this split method. So this split method reads the line and split into the words for the further processes. Guys, up till now we understand about how we can open the file, how we can write the contents to the file, how we can append the file, how we can use the with clause, and we can use the split methods. As I said earlier, file IO operations provides us the utility to deal with the textual data. If the data is available in the tabular form, in the form of records, then database management softwares are used that we discussed about connectivity with MySQL. But if you have a textual data, then file IO operations has to be performed, and it will provide you the better features. Hope you enjoy this session. Thank you.